MTN SME Hub. Link to growth. Link to success. Link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome back to the Big Small Business Show. In studio with us today, we have a very, very interesting guest. Her name is Judy Klipin. She's a coach and she specializes in burnout and what to do about it. Now, you write about a thing called an energy budget, not a monetary budget, but an energy budget. Tell us about that.
So, if I were to say to you on any given day of the month, how much money is in your bank account, you would probably know. And I think entrepreneurs are particularly aware of how much money is in their bank accounts at any given moment. So we're very aware of where the money is coming from, when it's coming in, what it needs to go on. We know that we need to spend it on the most important things first. If we have anything left over, then we can spend it on the nice things like, I don't know, going out for supper or buying a pair of shoes or whatever. We don't pay the same amount of attention to how we spend our money. Even though it's exactly the same, it's a finite resource. If we spend more energy than we are making, then we are going to go into overdraft, just like with money. Mm-hmm. So if we spend more money than we have, then we have to borrow from this credit card or pay off with that credit card or whatever until there's no more wiggle room and until we bankrupt. And burnout is the same. If we are spending more energy than we have, if we are pushing ourselves, if we're borrowing by having coffee or having an energy drink or whatever, and we are pushing ourselves further and further into overdraft, one day we are going to wake up bankrupt. And that is what burnout is. It's when we actually have no more energy to spend.
So let's talk about those energy sources. And then related to that, let's just start there. What are my sources of energy?
So it's different for everybody. And it's very important that we understand what our own sources of energy are. And I like to ask my clients to draw up a budget with 3 columns. So they're the things that drain your energy. Mm-hmm. They're the things that restore your energy and the things that generate energy for you. Okay. So for me, I'll use myself as an example. The things that drain my energy are, for instance, going to a shopping mall. Just not good. Everything about it not good for me, feels exhausting. The things that restore my energy would include going for a gentle walk, doing a yoga class, reading a book, very gentle, bringing me back to neutral. And the things that generate energy for me are things like coaching, running workshops, having supper with friends, the things that actually make me feel energized and very alive afterwards. But it's different for everybody. And so we need to work out for ourselves what are the things that drain us, that restore us, and that generate energy for us. And then we need to be sure, and I encourage my clients to every day write a to-do list of everything you have to do today. Look at each individual item. Assess whether it's going to drain you. That would be a downward red arrow. Restore you. That would be a sideways blue arrow. Or generate energy for you. That would be an upwards green arrow. And make a note next to each of your tasks. And if you have got more reds than you have blues or greens, you're coming up in the red, literally. Yeah. And so you then need to mindfully either remove some of the red tasks or add more green or blue tasks, so that you at the very least are coming out even, and preferably you actually are adding more green and blue tasks so that you can generate some savings to draw on in an emergency.
And now the question around, let's call it a break, a weekend, a weekend without work versus a long holiday. So is this also personal, if it's better for you to take multiple short breaks than one long break? Is that also a personal, I won't say choice, but what serves you? Or is there a rule that it's better to take more smaller breaks than one big break once a year?
Never a rule. Okay. It's always what works best for each individual.
Yeah.
So some people it might be better to have small breaks often, and some people it might be better to have big breaks less often. But having said that, I will say that we need to be very sure that we are giving ourselves and our brains time to rest every day. So working until 10 o'clock and then sleeping and then working again from 4 or 5 in the morning, that's not sustainable. So it's not that you have to take holidays, but you do have to give yourself a break every day and really just let your brain restore and regenerate. And I'm sure that you get your best ideas, your most creative ideas when your brain is resting, actually. The problem with burnout is that it can make us feel so incompetent and like inefficient that our tendency is to push ourselves further and to try and work for longer hours. And actually, it's the worst thing we can be doing for ourselves. What we need to be doing is saying, I'm tired, I need a break, or even I'm not tired, I need a break, and give our brains and our bodies a break so that we can restore and come back with that energy that we need to be as efficient and effective as we want to be.
We've got about 2 minutes left before the break, but I want to start the conversation around sleep, right, as a tool to balance, because that must be an energizing thing for everyone, provided it's good sleep. Yes. So just, tips, rules. I know you don't want to do rules, but tips around sleep and
okay.
Yeah.
So the more sleep, the better.
Yeah.
And also, I think there's a difference between rest and sleep.
Yeah.
And rest is as important as sleep is. So some people, especially when you have burnout, you struggle with sleeping. We struggle to fall asleep. We struggle to stay asleep. So rest is really, if you aren't sleeping nicely, then rest is the next best thing. But we really need to take sleep and rest seriously. And also, one of the things that we do when we have burnout is we kind of try and self-medicate a bit, drink a couple of glasses of wine or have a couple of whiskeys because we think that that's going to help us sleep. But actually it doesn't, because the sleep that we get when we are sleeping off alcohol is not restorative sleep. So I really want to encourage, I'm not saying don't have a glass of wine or a whiskey or whatever, but don't use it as a sleeping aid. Don't con yourself into thinking that it's a sleep assistance thing, because it's just not.
Okay, so regular time to go to bed.
Yeah, I think that is helpful. I think to have a regular time to go to bed. But in order for you to be able to sleep when you are going to bed, you need to stop working. You need to stop looking at your computer and stop looking at your spreadsheets and whatever it is that you are doing at least 2 hours before you go to bed. So going to bed is the end point in your sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
You need to start at least 2 hours before. Step away from the work, do something calming, have a bath, have a nice chat with whoever's at home. But sleep is not, getting into bed is not the beginning. It's the culmination of your sleep.
Okay. Well, that's the end of this section, but not the end of the show. So we've got one more slide. Please stay tuned, and we'll be back with Judy straight after this.
MTN SME Hub, link to business success.